tremendously well in all conditions on pole position for the festival final. Beside him, though, on the front row is the most experienced, well, almost one of the most experienced chargers of Formula Ford. Dave Coyne has been doing this festival for 10 years now, and he's never won it. He's got very close sometimes. He actually started this festival 10 seconds behind everybody else in his heat for overtaking, for a regulation infringement for his heat. So he's had to come right from the back of his heat, the quarter-final and the semi-final, to get onto the front row. Behind these two on the front row is a third chassis, Michael Edgar in a Van Diemen, David Coyne in a Swift, but on the inside of the second row is young Irish boy Finn Murray in a Reynard chassis. He's 25-year-old. He's been over in Britain doing the British Formula Ford Championship this year. He's finished third in that series, and he's third on the grid for the final. Beside Finn Murray on that second row is last year's winner, Nico Palhares from Brazil. Palhares was the 1989 British Formula Ford champion. He's come back to the festival after a disappointing year in Formula 3 this year with lack of money, meaning lack of results. But Palhares looking to be the first man to win 2 consecutive festivals. 28 Formula Fords then lined up for this 20-lap final on pole position with his heart beating faster than ever has done before. Young Michael Edgar on the outside, the experience of Dave Coyne as the lights switch to green and Coyne makes the most tremendous getaway from the outside of the front row. Young Edgar not quite up to that start. Spots of rain now coming down. The track could get greasy, but Coyne, who did so well in those conditions in the semi-finals, won't care what the track conditions are where he is. He's out front leading. Edgar now settling in, holding on to second as Palhares tries the long way around the outside at Druids. Down into Graham Hill Bend. Coyne leads from Edgar and Palhares. Fourth is Finn Murray. Fifth, the French Grand champion, Bouillon. Streaming into Surtees. Coyne still leads. Edgar, though, going with him. Palhares has been dropped slightly in third. Murray fourth. Bouillon fifth. Through clearways, everybody safely getting round this first lap of hectic Formula Ford action, and Edgar's not letting Coyne get away. Young Michael Edgar going with Coyne. Palhares under pressure from Finn Murray. The rest of the pack stream up to Paddock Hill Bend. Coyne still leads from Edgar. Third still Palhares. Finn Murray dodging this way and that in the wheel tracks of Palhares. Finn Murray trying the outside. We are watching in fifth. Rick Morris there in sixth, another veteran. 2 veterans in the top 6 with these young chargers sandwiched in. Edgar's made a slight mistake and Palhares has got a wheel up the inside. He's alongside into Surtees. Edgar closes the door like a veteran, belying his youth. Edgar there on a tremendous Bouillon trying up the inside of Finn Murray for clearways, not doing that either. Coyne, a little bit of breathing space there as the battle for second was waged. But this is fantastic, hectic Formula Ford racing, slipstreaming down the top straight. Every driver looking for a gap ahead, but at the same time having to check his mirrors behind. Coyne eases away through Paddock Hill Bend. He mustn't go across that black and white line too often. That's the old circuit. You're penalised if you do that too often. Edgar in second. Coyne must steady himself down out front. Palhares looking to get by Edgar as soon as possible to mount a challenge on Coyne. But certainly the young Northern boy Palhares looks down the outside to try and worry Edgar into making a mistake. Edgar holds the defensive inside line. Palhares looks up the inside. This time he surely must do it, but Edgar tries to close the door down. They're side by side through clearways. Now, having opened that door, Palhares should be able to hold on to the inside up to Paddock, but Finn Murray's trying to make it 3 abreast. So these 3, Palhares is going to take second, and Finn Murray takes third, but Edgar's going to hold him off. Edgar sliding out wide, pushing Finn Murray wider and wider. Bouillon, the French champion, looks to come in inside Finn Murray. This is fantastic, hectic Formula Ford racing at its best as Palhares now looks to chase Coyne for the lead. Michael Edgar dropped then down the pack to third. Fourth, in fact, is Bouillon. Fifth there, Finn Murray losing fifth. Up to Rick Morris goes fifth. Finn Murray pushed back to sixth. So Finn Murray there pushed back from fourth to sixth. Rick Morris up to fifth place. Bouillon, the French champion, now fourth. There's Morris ahead of Finn Murray. Palhares now challenging. This is the Titanic clash up front. Palhares winner last year. Dave Coyne in the Swift chassis. Palhares, and Coyne makes a mistake, goes wide. Palhares is through. Coyne there defending the inside line. Palhares up wide. So now Palhares, last year's winner, looking to be the first man to do 2 consecutive festivals. But it's Van Diemen chassis leading Swift. Palhares ahead of the Charger Coyne. Michael Eggman not being dropped at all, but Jules Bouillon, the French champion, really putting on a tremendous performance here. We've never seen a foreign driver come over here and be so competitive as Bouillon. The other drivers here, the Brazilians and all the other nationalities, they tend to race over in Britain in the British Championship. But Bouillon there mounting a challenge on Edgar. Look, looking in the slipstream, jinking out. Bouillon trying to open the door with Edgar. Edgar holding the defensive line. Bouillon looking to go outside, now pulling back inside, coming up for Druids. Bouillon trying to ease the door open. Edgar trying to close it, but Bouillon now is inside for Druids. Edgar holds on, but Bouillon should have made that place now. Yes. So this is superb. Jules Bouillon, the French champion, going like no interloper has ever done before at the festival. But out front, 2 British Championship regulars, Palhares and Coyne. Palhares easing away perhaps. Coyne not right with him. Palhares just a couple of car lengths ahead of Coyne. Works Van Diemen chassis leads, Works Swift chassis. These 2 drivers almost brought into this festival to win the race for their respective manufacturers, to prove the chassis. Bouillon there, a Van Diemen customer, doing so well in 3rd. Edgar 4th. Finn Murray now back up to 5th ahead of Morris. I think Dave Coyne will be praying for rain. It was the greasy conditions that seemed to suit him so well in his semi-final. Palhares, it was in fact who he beat in that semi-final. Palhares led the semi-final until about 3 laps from the end. But Coyne came through in the drizzles. Here the battle for 7th place raging. That's Brazilian Duda Rosa. A young Brazilian again over here to try and show his name. Rick Morris has been pushed down a couple of places by Duda Rosa. Up to Druids. That's Duda Rosa. 66 is the other guy in there, battling away with Rick Morris. That's Russell Ingall, the Australian champion, trying to push his way by on the inside. Duda Rosa shuts the doors. That's Rosa, Ingall, Morris. Ingall, the Australian champion, and 2 places further back there's Neil Cunningham, an experienced Formula 4 driver, another Australian looking to move up to challenge his counterpart for that 7th position. But up front there, Coyne is in the lead. Coyne is in the lead. Palhares has stopped before Paddock. Well, this is a tragedy for the man that was trying to win 2 festivals in a row. He stopped. This is now the challenge for the lead. Coyne is in the lead. Bouillon, for the French champion, there, already abandoned. Palhares in disgust. He's already walking back. Something stopped the car. There, poor Nico Palhares. There's nothing sadder than a sad Brazilian. But up front, Dave Coyne back in the lead of this festival. Half distance, a lap away. Still a lap to go before half distance, but Jules Bouillon, the French champion, could cause the shock surprise result, the way he's challenging Dave Coyne up front. Coyne perhaps gambled. Bouillon now, Coyne out on that circuit again. He's back across the black and white line. If he does that too often, there'll be a warning flag from the organisers. You can't go out there too often. You mustn't use it as part of the regular circuit, and Bouillon is pressurising Coyne all the way. Bouillon looking up the inside along Cooper Straight for Surtees, forcing Coyne to go off the ideal line. These 2 now well clear of the battle for 3rd, which is now Finn Murray has got himself back in line and moving back forwards again. Murray, who's had an up and down festival so far, but the battle for the lead of the Formula Ford Festival as they come up to complete half distance is all about Dave Coyne and Jules Bouillon. Coyne not closing the door that time. knowing he was just far enough ahead of Bouillon to hold him off. Coyne's going to need all his experience to hold Bouillon behind. Down through Graham Hill Bend, along Cooper Straight. This is where Bouillon seems to close more than anywhere else, but it's not an overtaking place into Surtees. Coyne knows that, he knows he can shut the door. There into Clearways. Bouillon now, with no pressure from behind, can really watch Coyne for 2 or 3 or 4 laps to try and size up the best place to make an overtaking manoeuvre, but he's close enough now. He moves left and right, jinks in his slipstream. Coyne was ready for it. Dave looking over his shoulder, but now he's pushed in deeper. Bouillon will try to pull tight on the exit of Paddock Hill Bend to get up on the inside for Druids. A tremendous duel between the most experienced Formula 4 driver and one of the least, and yet a young name for the future. Certainly a future French star we see in the making here. Jules Bouillon, again, so close to Dave Coyne's gearbox, the nose cone is almost touching. Through Surtees. Clearways, a position where Bouillon could dive up the inside. Again, very close coming out of Clearways. Power on. Second gear changes up to third, change up to fourth. Bouillon pressurising Coyne, looking for Coyne, tempting him with half a gap on the inside, making Bouillon wonder which way he's going to move again next. But again, he really is having to defend. In the background, Finn Murray, if anything, slightly closing on this pair. Finn Murray in a third different chassis in the top 3 is beginning to move forward as Coyne defends. Bouillon all over Coyne's gearbox, but Dave Coyne, a hard charger, so determined. There, he's looking, Bouillon up the inside. That was the place you can look. A dive up the inside of Clearways, but you see how much ground it loses when an overtaking manoeuvre doesn't come off. Bouillon must now probably spend a lap remaking a challenge. They finished 13 laps, there's 7 more to go, and Coyne grimly holds on to this lead. 2 wheels across the black and white line. Out of Druids, down Graham Hill Bend. Coyne doing so well out the front. Still leading, still holding. Behind him, Finn Murray still holds third, is moving slowly. Bouillon now right up, ready to pounce again, and once more in an overtaking position in that slipstream. There's mud all over the road. And Bouillon weaving away, trying to disturb Coyne's concentration. Coyne goes nigh tight and narrow. 5 laps left to go. Behind this amazing battle, Finn Murray in the blue car gets closer. Young Michael Edgar still a good 4th. Sensationally up to 6th place from 28th is young Michael Vergers, this year's British champion. And but meanwhile, well though Vergers may be doing to make a comeback, there's nothing like this battle up front between these two. It's hard to take our eyes off them to see even what's happening behind. Coyne leads, Bouillon in his wheel tracks everywhere. Bouillon again close enough, right in the slipstream. Coyne will again, there's a yellow flag out for that mud, there's a crashed car there, looks like Warren Hughes' car. Bouillon again looks to the left. Coyne is forced to break down the inside of the road. Bouillon again tries to pull inside on the way up to Druids. But Coyne hasn't made a mistake. Finn Murray closes in, the blue car edging nearer these two. But Coyne is just not making any mistakes. This is what experience can give you. Hopefully a faultless race, and he is at the moment is driving with every experience he has. Bouillon has no match yet. Here he's close enough. He might try to tuck to the right here at Clearways. Instead he chooses to try and get the power down, get onto the straight in the slipstream. Top straight again. Coyne again will hold the pit wall. He'll force Bouillon to pull to the left. Coyne then will have to brake on the difficult line. Coyne braking on the inside, whereas Bouillon has the better line for braking. Bouillon then trying to pull inside, but Coyne covers the inside for Druids. Finn Murray gets closer. superb display of very clean, very top-flight Formula Ford driving. Coyne knowing exactly what he's doing. Bouillon just trying to pressure him into one little mistake. Into clearways. He's going to have another 4 attempts at this overtaking manoeuvre. Bouillon will have 4 more attempts. Across the start-finish line. This is his 4th from the end attempt. It doesn't work. He'll have 3 more attempts at paddock. Coyne holding sway, shutting the inside, and Finn Murray gets closer. It's going to be a 3-way dice for the lead for the last 2 laps of this year's Formula Ford Festival. Finn Murray, tremendous. So this battle, exciting though it is, we have to tell you, Vergès is up to 4th from 28th, and there he's made the move. Bouillon looked to the inside. That is the other possibility at Clearways. It didn't come off. He's tried it once before. He's got 3 more attempts now to paddock, but Finn Murray's closer. Michael Vergès, this year's British champion, the young Dutch boy, is up to a tremendous 4th from nowhere. Bouillon looks again. There's only 2 laps left to go. He's going to try to pull to the inside. Coyne goes wide. He comes across. This time Bouillon's got half a wheel. No, he hasn't. Coyne went wide that time. He almost made the mistake, and Finn Murray's now with Bouillon. This could help Coyne because Bouillon must check his mirrors. Bouillon doesn't want Finn Murray, if he even knows he's there. Bouillon might be hypnotised by the back of Dave Coyne's gearbox. There really is no answer to the moment. Murray looks for the inside of Bouillon. That wasn't on. Coyne holds that line. Vergès appears in the background. Michael Vergès from nowhere to not far behind these 3. Coyne holds on. He's going to complete 19 laps. He's only got 1 lap left after this to win the Formula Ford Festival. Bouillon doesn't know which way to go. Coyne does the same again. He holds tight on the inside. Bouillon really needed to go high around the outside. Bouillon should have been braver, really. His only hope was to go all the way around the outside of Coyne. He didn't do it. He's now holding the wheel tracks. Coyne now must win this festival. He has held steady for so long. Through Graham Hill Bend again for the last time. Bouillon here is so quick. Bouillon is kissing the gearbox. Coyne holds the defensive inline 9. Finn Murray looks to overtake them both. A final attempt, the final corner. Here Bouillon will pull tight. Murray does Bouillon. Murray inside Bouillon. That was always the danger. And they've touched. Wheels banging. Dave Coyne is going to win the festival. Finn Murray is going to come second. Bouillon, who tracked him for so long. Dave Coyne, from 10 seconds behind, wins the Formula Ford Festival. Second, Finn Murray. Third, Bouillon. A tremendous 4th, Dutchman Michael Vergès from absolutely nowhere. So, a tremendous win for Dave Coyne in the Swift chassis. Second, Finn Murray moving up to take 2nd for Reynard. 3rd, the French champion Bouillon. And 4th, British champion Michael Vergès, who started right from the back.